kuja Kenya, who's the biggest artist? Whether it is Pose, whether it's Otile, whether it is Baha, unaishi maisha ya mtu wa kawaida yote huku nje.
So did Otile live in bad terms ama alikwambia tu bro?
Back then it was bad terms. Mimi sikuwa nataka kuendelesha hiyo story, so mimi nipigie Otile nikamwambia bro, mimi nimekuachilia, just go start your own thing, is okay. Sasa hiyo unajua mko bit tips nini, kaangalia hivi nikaona mbona hii balcony na hii staircase haziko mbali sana. Me, I believed I could never walk again.
For a whole year you're bedridden. What's up, everybody? My name is Lily Aisha and welcome to yet another episode of Tuko Extra. Today I am in the space of our Dr. Eddie. I'm sure you guys read his story. There are very many things that have been said out there, but he's here to clarify a few things and also just to give us a story. You know, when we sit here, it's vibes and inshallah. So I'm going to sit with Dr. Eddie. Let's get to know about him, what he's up to now that he's fully back, what he has in store for us, and there's so much more, man. So you just sit there, sipping your tea or whatever it is, you're going to be entertained, trust me. Dr. Eddie, karibu sana, or rather when tutaniambia karibu jo niko kwako.
Karibu.
Yeah, let's just start the interview getting to know who Dr. Eddie is. Like we had mentioned before we started here, hata sura yako nili have kuangalia ×3. You're a very private person.
Sisi watu wa chini ya maji. You're behind the scenes. We let our work
speak for you. Yeah. I like that. So just maybe tell us how Dr. Eddie became Dr. Eddie, because you are not born Dr. Eddie.
No. Edward Omondi.
Allah.
So Dr. Eddie ilitoka high school. So in high school I was head of the sick bay. So you know when you go to games and whatever, you're the guy who carries the medical kit and all that. So people started making fun of Dr. Eddie. So when I got into the industry, nikakuta huku lazima mtu ukwe na
jina.
Back then unajua jina yako ndio ilikuwa
inakuuza.
So nilikuwa napenda Dr. Dre na nikaona I used to be called Dr. Eddie, so
twende nayo
and it stuck
up to now.
Ni kitambo though.
When did you start your journey in music? Just after high school?
Not 2 years after high school, in 2004.
So umetuambia miaka zako. Watu wako tu.
Mimi mzee. Ni sura tu tulibarikiwa nazo
za ujana.
Ndio hiyo.
You're right.
Yes.
So when you joined the industry, you jumped right into gospel. When you started as a gospel. No.
I started as a secular. Actually, I started as a reggae producer.
What?
Yes. Though yani nilikuwa church, and then I used to be an instrumentalist in church, and then I made some tracks for one of my friends akakuja Nairobi to record. So the guy who had the track was like, who made this? Your time nilikuwa naishi Gilgil. Yeah, so that's how I got myself in Nairobi. Your studio Lienda, it was almost purely a reggae studio. Ilikuwa inaitwa Vineyard Records, ilikuwa pale Buruburu. Yeah, so that's how nilijipata now. I'm majoring in reggae nini. So I made the first rhythm track.
Really?
Ever to be made in the country.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Hey, daktari kweli.
So hapo ndio kila mtu akaflock into the studio. Now that's where I met kina Rafton, Owen, and so most of those guys who were doing reggae back then, wengi walikuwa gospel. So tukakutana hiyo time. They had come to ride on the rhythm.
And then how did you
after that kwa hiyo studio ndio tukakutana mpaka na Lady B. So hizo tracks zake za kwanza zenye alikuwa amefanya na wakina Risasi nani, those were the first songs nilitoa, nikasema naweza sema they were popular. Not big as such, but popular.
They were known.
So nikiwa hapo Buru, Ben Bahati, who used to be a reggae artist then, akakuja to the studio to do a track na mimi. That's where we met. So in 2008, akaniambia anataka kufungua studio in Eldoret. So after the post-election violence, even ndio nilijipata LD. So many people think mimi nimetoka LD, mimi sijatoka LD.
Tumesikia jina tukasema
mimi sijatoka. Actually I stayed in Eldoret for only 1 year.
Oh really?
But nikiwa huko ndio I did my first biggest songs. That was ile album ya System ya Kapungala. The whole album
is by you.
Yes.
Damn.
Because back then tulikuwa na njaa.
So kazi.
I never used to sleep. So nikiwa pale ngoma ikatoka, so ikakuwa most of my traffic ya wasanii wanatoka Nairobi wa kuja Eldoret. Nikaona why am I in Eldoret? Nirudi tu
the money is.
The money is. Nikajipata Nairobi in 2009. Ndio nikaanzisha Dreamland Music. Yes.
What? Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're a doctor. The fact that you did the whole album, and that was such a big album.
Back then tulifanya mangoma kubwa. It wasn't even that. Tulifanya album ya Eunice Njeri.
What?
Ile ya Emanueli. We did a lot back then. Ngoma za kina Danko, Nashville.
So then why did at that time were you really strictly, okay, not strictly, but mostly doing gospel?
So when I started working with Ben Bahati, that's when I'll do strictly gospel, because then now I was working in church. Hallelujah.
Praise God.
Praise the Lord.
No, time. It's not like now you can be in church but still do other things. People are like, okay, back then if it's church, it's church.
Yes, it's church. Actually, nakumbuka. Now after that, I came to Nairobi, got married. I won the awards. It was a group, and then ikakuwa. Kulikuwa na issues kidogo. Then I did a secular song.
Bas.
It brought problems.
Backslide.
Problems. Na unakumbuka saa hiyo 100% of my clientele are gospel artists and seriously gospel people. Nilipoteza kama 75%.
What? They were like, we don't work with you now.
No, ilikuwa mpaka kwa blogs nini, people discussing whether it's right for people. Nikashindwa. I mean, many guys are doing this. Wakina Arcade, then they were doing what? Secular and gospel nini. Then nikajua, kumbe nilikuwa na influence then, and many people are looking up to me and saying, but then maisha ni maisha, tufanye vipi?
We just keep moving. So I don't know if there's between that time and before now we start your very emotional story that you posted on Facebook, and all of us are like, msame kwa kipitia hizi mashida zote tu, umekalia hizi shida zote. What was life like that time before now?
Life was good. Life was good. Nakumbuka then I started an events company. Tukiwa na my ex-wife. Nilikuwa inaitwa Profile, and it did very well. Tulipata mpaka ma jobs EABL,
really?
Very big companies. And ikageuka kakua life of the party.
Umeacha kanisa, sasa ni sherehe.
And that's when now nika sign Otile Brown, and things were on the upward trend. But life was good then.
Life was money, nice money.
Big cars.
Hey, mashallah. Then
mi wasilalamikiri anasema mimi I've lived the life.
You've lived the life.
I've lived the life. But then problems started. You see, by then I got married in 2010. Nilikuwa nishakaa na wife. Now we are talking about 2016. Tulikuwa tushaanza letana ma issue kidogo. You know how it goes in relationships. Especially when now mlikuwa mnaishi a certain kind of lifestyle and now things have changed and people, how marriage goes. Ilikuwa tough then. And
what is this lifestyle that changed? Because pale tumekuachia big cars. Big cars.
Also now it's a lifestyle change. And then we got married when we were still very young. A lot of people now growing to themselves and sahi kuna pesa now, kila mtu anataka different things. Yeah, our goals now are not even aligned anymore. There was just a lot of things culminating into issues. Ikakuwa relationship kaiendi mahali. And then sasa to top it up, your time tukifanya video ya Otile na Baraka the Prince, ile ya Niseme Nawe, I stayed like 36 hours without sleeping.
Working
on that video, because now we had to fly in Baraka from Tanzania and all those. Alafu sasa hamna time ya kurelax nini. So tukimpeleka airport, hiyo asubuhi he had a flight ya 5. Kufika kukakuwa na issues na hiyo flight. Ikakuwa we had to change the flight to an evening flight. Sasa tukirudi kutoka airport, I dozed off while driving.
Oh, you're tired.
I was so fatigued. Yeah. So I had an accident in town, actually, katikati hapo Uhuru Highway.
And all of you in the car, you, Baraka,
Me,
Otile?
Baraka, Otile, Ashur, and Deno was my brother-in-law then. Yeah, the car was full. Yeah, uzuri ilikuwa a big car. So hasara ile tulipata nilipoteza gari then and all that.
No one got hurt?
No, just a few bruises.
Little scratches.
I think I'll send you the pictures. The car was totally totaled because niligonga a street light. Kakata gari katikati.
Na mko na 2 scratches.
Scratches.
My God is good.
Because the car was a safety car. I still miss that car. Yeah. Nikipata some 3 million zimelala mahali, I'll go for
That's
it.
the car you'll go for. Some 3 million. Umesikia? Daktari anaishi very good life. 3 million. Hey, sisi nataka tu hata 50 bob. Unataka 3 million. It's good.
Back then it wasn't kwa pesa your time. Yeah.
And you used to make that much money.
Yes.
But you were niche. That's the thing. You were you. Like there was no other you. That's the thing.
Yes.
I just say there are a lot of
your time. The industry was streamlined.
yeah.
Big producers, you could name like 3 or 4. Cause ilikuwa RK, Msioka, Ogopa Khalif, then you come to me.
Nashanga mbona ujitaji.
Yeah.
Umena, you should Dr. Eddie, RK ndo ungeanza.
Hiyo ni apart from me.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So tulikuwa na job. Cause your time, watu walikuwa na line up get into the studio.
And that's when people understand that music has money.
Music has money, your time ndio. Actually watu wanafikiria your time ndio kulikuwa na pesa. Pesa iko sahi. But back then wale wachache when we were very good at our craft, things were easy. Things were easy. So until they blew up then and then starting 2017 ikakuwa now my marriage just failed. Of course kulikuwa na a lot of emotional issues. Mentally I was not okay. Wife anaenda Otile now decides, this guy,
It's time I move.
it's time I move, because I think PIA license things are not right. Wanamwelewa. Then sikuwa naelewa maybe how he was looking at things, because you see, as an artist becomes bigger, now the responsibility and zile vitu zinahitajika to sustain him become more. Yeah. So ni kama vitu zilikuwa zinaenda sideways for me.
It was something that someone could see, that you're getting emotionally drained.
Yes, because now you see ile vegan ilikuwa nayo, doing his stuff, nini and all that, ilikuwa imerudi.
And this is solely because of you seeing your marriage is breaking.
Yes.
You weren't
and
ready
a
for
lot
that.
of things, your time deal ilikuwa nayo na EABL ikaisha nini and all that. So there were just a lot of things going on all together. Yeah. Alafu industry tena your time ndio now most people are coming in, and then DSLRs zikakuwa introduced. So DSLRs, when they were introduced, it was easy for somebody just to pick up a camera and become a video producer. So we stopped being the in thing now, because my boys hawana responsibility ya kingia huko ku research about video editing. Now amekuwa sisi wa 2008 7, so they put their all in there, because hafikiri kitu ingine yote. Si wengine tuna familia. Ikakuwa now we are not keeping up na industry. So job ikarudi chini.
So did Otile live in bad terms ama alikwambia tu bro?
Back then it was bad terms to live. It was all over the
Me, I was young. Hapo usema 2017. No, I was not young. 2017. 2017 I was in uni.
Yes. Ilikuwa all over. Actually, ukigoogle Dr. Eddie, I think the story
top stories.
Fighting with Otile Brown. Now maybe now, being the private person I was, nearly declined. I think I only went for one interview then. Udaku sasa ile NTV, I guess. Yeah, but that was it. Mimi sikuwa nataka kuendelesha hiyo story, so mimi nipigie Otile nikamwambia bro, mimi nimekuwa just go start your own thing. It's okay. Kwa sasa mimi nilikuwa naona nao hizi ni mashetani gani hizi, everything coming together. So back then I was living in a 6-bedroom house.
And you were just two?
No. Your nyumba now, everybody was in there.
Okay.
Otile used to live there. We were Ashur, my brother-in-law, CC, yani it was studio ilikuwa bado pale ndani. So it made sense to live in such a house. But now everybody has left, because now when the ex-wife left, the brother-in-law akamfuata. Of course, Otile now has gone. Ashur naye akaona akarudi hocha nini. Things were just, tukabaki pale mimi na Jeff. Jeff was acting as my manager then. But he's more of a bro. So tukawa tu wawili pale tukaamua, I need to move out of this house. So katoka nikarudi penye nilianzia. Si make fun, tulikuwa tuna make fun na Jeff, nasema tumerudi default settings.
Back to settings.
Back to default settings. So life ikakuwa, I just go to work, come back home, drink myself silly, sleep, wake up the next morning. So ilikuwa ni kama, but Jeff is very resourceful. So jobs ilikuwa bado zinaingia, corporate deals. Your time nilikuwa nimeacha kuwakata na wasanii wa Kenya. I was just working with Tanzanian guys, because I felt they made sense to me. Wakina Q-Boy, wakina Timbulo, Baraka the Prince. And hiyo time nilikuwa nimeingia Tanzania completely. Unajua huko hawajuangi DR means doctor. So wanajua ni director Eddie.
Wa Tanzania mjui nyinyi.
Jamani, watu wangu sana. So hiyo time ndio tukapata deals nyingi sana. Kwa na tufanya adverts kibao. The biggest I think ilikuwa Indomie.
That's big.
And then one day tulikuwa birthday beshte yetu kwa anaitwa Dan. He lives in the States now. Tukaenda huko usiku. We had a lot of fun.
Sheria.
Alafu kuna another good friend of mine anaitwa Danish. Danish has political ambitions. So yeye alikuwa anataka kurun in 2022. So ikakuwa there are a lot of things tunafaa kumfanyia. Tuka discuss that whole night mpaka kitu kama saa 8 tukaamua. Na hiyo time najua tukitoka home nilikuwa naishi mimi Jeff na PA wangu alikuwa anaitwa Deno. Tulikuwa tumwambia Deno si aturudi. Sisi tunaenda sisi tutarudi kesho. Sisi tumeenda kwa Dan, I think tutalala huko. Ikafika saa 8 tukaona this thing is heated up. Hizi vitu haziwezi ngoja. Hizi zenye tuna discuss na Danish. We need to start doing them as soon as tomorrow.
Ziliwashika mkasema kesho.
Tunaanza kesho. Sasa ikakuwa hata hatuwezi lala. Let us just go back home. Ndio kesho tuamkie kitu kama saa 3 saa 4 we start doing this thing. Tukafika home. Then pia alienda akavaa headphones akalala.
Si anajua nyinyi mnarudi kesho.
Anajua tunarudi kesho. Tulinoka mlango for like almost an hour. Sasa imefika saa 9 asubuhi. Sasa hiyo unajua mko a bit tipsy nini, kaangalia hivi nikaona mbona hii balcony na hii staircase haziko mbali sana.
Ukaanza kupiga hesabu Pythagoras theorem. Hapo unaona angles.
Well, the rest is history.
No, it can't be history. We have to know. Ukapanda.
Nikapanda. Okay, baadaye ndio tukajua tunajua kishashika zile rails na kanyaga ile block imeshikilia zile ma railings. Hiyo block ilikuwa loose. Gave way.
Baka chini. From what floor?
4th floor. So inasemekana niliangukia gari or something na hip. So it shattered everything huku, pelvic bone nini. Yeah. It was tough.
That was serious.
It was tough. Sasa ni mbio nini, tuende hosi, tukaenda hosi ya kwanza Kiambu. Hiyo time nilikuwa naishi Kiambu. Kaenda Kiambu district akasema amefanya nini? Ameanguka kutoka floor akasema hapana.
Kwa nini ulikata? It's too much.
That's too much for them. Hiyo time the hospital ilikuwa haijakuwa equipped. Tukaambiwa hapa haiwezekani. Tukatoka tukaenda hosi nyingine hapo tu Kiambu town inaitwa Maslite pia wakasema this one was right then me I'm just screaming
in pain.
Alafu imagine nilibebwa na, because we tried to look for an ambulance. Hiyo time there was none.
What?
Akaniaka kwa Uber. Because now they know Jeff, none of them could drive them. So I ate Uber.
Unajua si medical people so wanakubeba tu.
Wananiinua tu. I screamed the whole way. So tukanyoroka mpaka Nazareth Hospital. Sasa huko ndio nikafanyiwa first aid, very fast. Kafanyiwa x-ray, nikaambiwa what is the problem. Nikaekwa huko, so ikakuwa they have to do reconstructive surgery, but Nazareth bado haiwezi. Ndio nikajikuta straight mpaka Coptic.
What?
Yeah. Hey, it was tough. But you know, my biggest asset is human resource. Yeah. Me, I have friends. Yani,
support
me, I have people. Not even like friends, because me who believe in helping anybody and everybody. So, hey, what will come through? The bill was huge.
Of course, that's constructive surgery is not cheap.
It was huge. My surgery took, I think, 8 hours.
That's a long time.
Long time. So me, I believed I could never walk again. All that. Nikakaa hosi, I think, for like was it 2 weeks? Then nikaona, this bill is becoming too much. Kasema nirudishe home. Sasa niko home, lala kwa kitanda for like almost a year. Ndio nikaanza sasa mafizio nini.
Are you serious? And all this time nobody knows. As in out here we didn't know that story.
Yes, I didn't know.
And your friends are
people,
nice.
Yeah. Kwanza tunaweja wanaitwa Ashur. There is Olewili, the artist, then Jeff, then they know. Yani those people wale ni sijui.
Just story kutoka.
Brothers for life.
Yeah. So for a whole year you're bedridden. Can't do music, you can't also do your events.
So
Jupia savings zote.
Now also the biggest even challenge was job zetu zote za Tanzania gone. Corporates zote Indomie tried to wait for me. Wakaona
we are losing.
They need to do their stuff. Kambia it's okay, just go ahead. Wekaenda zile ma-ads zingine zote tulikuwa nazo. People got other people. Contracts got cancelled. It was tough.
Then depression kicked in, I'm sure.
Of course. But I never let it affect me that much. Because nilikuwa so determined to walk again. Nilikuwa najua what is inside me. Mtu haezi. I always consider myself the best.
The king.
Yeah, I always consider myself the best. So, nilikuwa najua if I could get to work again, I'll just come back. So, you ndio kitu likuwa and keep going.
Then you did the therapy, physiotherapy.
Yeah, physiotherapy was expensive because it was twice a week and each session was, I think, 5,000 shillings.
So besides medicine, you need 10K a week.
Savings, kaput.
And you have no business at this time.
No business. Kitu ilikuwa ni keep ni royalties.
Oh, at least you eat from royalties.
Yes. Yani hizo YouTube na skiza na nini hizi royalties za mziki.
What?
Yeah, but now for the kind of lifestyle we're living now, things
of course
had to change.
But let me make it clear, they did not change. Your wife did not leave you because of this.
No.
Well, alitoka kitambo.
You see, when I posted what I posted, watu wengi ukuja in my inbox. Unajua, I paint a picture out there. Wale watu wananifollow. You paint picture ya mtu ana live
the good life.
Almost a perfect life. Good cars, nini, good homes, and so people just think it's rosy. So watu wengi uko kwa inbox yangu na mashida nini, of course naturally mi huwaelewa, yeah, because I've been there before. But niliamua kupost ndio at least ule mtu anaona. Watu wengi uniambia wame give up nini, wasi give up that easily. Yes, as much as you see somebody has a good life, they have their own kind of problems. Yeah. Watu wana shida nyingi.
Na si weka Instagram what we want you to see.
Yes.
Not what we are going through.
Nitakupostia vile niko Mombasa sijui. Sasa hizo picha za Mombasa nilipiga last year.
Ujakanyaga Mombasa this time.
Wajuangi vile watu hufanya.
Unachukua mingi. Unapost one by one.
Sasa una fly kwenda ile ukiingia kwa flight unaingia na jacket, umeifunga vizuri. Ukishafika kwa flight unatoa jacket. That's a different flight.
That's two pictures.
Two different flights. Siku unarudi two different flights. So unaweza imagine nikiamua sasa kuwapostia every after 2 weeks, every after, utaona hujamaa kwa ndege
all the time
mara 2 kwa mwezi, anaendanga wapi? Na sasa hatuweki destination.
So to catching flights.
Yeah.
But do you think there's so much pressure to be able to live up to such standards? Because unaona vile unasema, it's not real. There are things that we post that are not real.
Yeah.
Definitely. Everyone does that.
Yes.
I feel like social media is like that.
Of course.
But as you yourself, do you feel like that's pressure that the industry has given you? Ama ni wewe unajiwekea hiyo pressure?
Not quite, because for me I believe I never need to do that. Yeah, but it's just keeping up with
Social media.
Because our business is a business of perception. The more people see you're doing well, the more they believe
Wako sawa.
we are sawa, job yake ni poa, that's why watu wanaenda huko, na that's why yako na pe. And that's how you get more jobs.
So let's just say you're marketing yourself.
It's a marketing gimmick. So
What? Hey.
Yeah.
Social media
normal.
Hey.
Yeah. So lazima tupost. Yeah.
How long did it take you to bounce back after you said like what?
From 2017. From 2018. The accident was 2018. Yeah, kuanguka. Naweza sema yani mpaka I think last year.
Really?
Yeah, 2021 ndio vitu zimeanza kurudi pole pole. Because now I started working in 2020.
Sa COVID-10.
Na COVID ikahit. So there wasn't much we were doing. Kuwa na much. 2019 I did a few jobs ile ningeweza kufanya with my condition, but 2020 ndio nilianza kutembea and all that.
Okay.
But hakukuwa na job. Industry was as good as dead then. Nimehangaika sana, but I thank God yani.
Because you're here.
Yes.
That's the most important
thing.
thing.
Yes. Na mimi husema as long as I can walk, I can do my job, I'll be fine.
So now we can say Dr. Eddie is back. Like
Dr. Eddie is back.
Fully.
And the big things on the way coming. Yani, I think I'm in a space now. We have signed a new artist actually. Mwenye atakuwa mnoma reni.
So utatuambia.
Yeah?
Utatuambia. Tuambie. Tujue.
It's public news. That's what I'm jua. Anaitwa Risan Romeo.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying someone.
No.
Okay.
I won't say who we are working, collaborating with, coming to this, but they're just big things. Yeah, probably soon after election, tuna roll out.
Yeah, after elections.
I think nitawaita tu hapa home.
We'll be here. Callers will come. Sasa kila kitu tunasema after election. Utolewa lini after election? Utazaa lini after election? Utatuonesha msanii lini after elections?
Wewe unaweza imagine utoe ngoma saa hii. Unatoa ngoma saa hii. Ukienda trending 1 2 3 4 5 6 7
mpaka 20.
Sijui Kenya Kwanza, Azimio, kushuka Wajakoya, sijui alifanya nini.
Right.
Muziki inaanza kuonekania number 15.
That's actually true.
It can't work.
So you have to be smart about this.
So you can release song, it's either you should have enormous resources in terms of marketing. Plus you waste resources.
So now, as we are finishing up on this,
yes,
you and your ex-wife, are you in good terms?
Si wale watu ati tulikuwa dating or we were legally married. Yeah, wedding and all that. Of course the divorce was finalized and all that, but si hatukuachana ya kukosana.
It was amicable.
It was amicable. Just you do your thing, I do my thing. Maisha yaendelee. So we are okay.
Are you seeing someone now?
Of course.
Daktari.
Yeah, nimeona kwanza amekuwa plaster. Hata sijui sometimes amekuwa plastered all over the shit.
It's tough. Usanii ni ngumu. Once you're outside in the limelight, my friend, your life is not your life anymore. It's our life.
Maybe. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
But it's good that you, in as much as even she's been plastered out there, you've not atujakuona kusema please stop nini. Fundisha watu commenting.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because of course I post a few times on my social media, but me wanna post here to the few guys who follow me. But you see, when a blog takes up the story,
that's it.
Now it's before millions. Yeah.
But oh well.
It
is
okay.
well.
It is well. But so far so good. Me, I thank God. Niko poa.
I'm grateful to also see you're standing, you're walking, you're driving. Like life is back now.
Yeah, life is back to normal. And we believe bigger things now.
Bigger things. We need to get back to 6 bedroom, 3 million. Hey, Dr. Eddie. As we wrap this up, what do you want to finish by saying? Your plans, how we can find you, maybe mimi ni msanii. I don't know.
Kama ni msanii, just on social media. I think hata ukienda to Google Dr. Eddie, my number is the most public number yenye iko hii country, because I've had the same number since 2005.
What?
Yeah. Na imekuanga tu public, so I think most people know it. Just go to my bio anywhere, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere, you'll find my number. And mi usema, okay, leo tulikuwa tunaongelea about my story, but industry yetu mi uililia sana, because we've built a lot, but sahi tumehit a plateau.
Industry as a producer or as a...
Our music industry, as a Kenyan industry, tumehit a plateau, and I would just pray for the day people do things differently.
What do you mean if hit a plateau? I feel like now we are...
No. We've hit a plateau and it's bad.
Really?
Watu hawana kitu nje. Msidanganywe na posts za Instagram.
Za jackets.
Za jackets. People have nothing out here. People are not making money. As much as now industry is paying much more than it used to, but very few people are making anything out of this industry.
What do you feel should be changed? What do you think is the one thing that needs to be changed for us to get
just
there?
Need management. Huwezi taka kuwa wasafi na una operate kama jamaa uko Shamahoho.
It's true.
You can't.
Yeah.
Because there is just so much you can do as an artist. Huwezi kuwa kila kitu when you una receive mpaka calls za show and you can't. There's a player challenge. Just look for any artist. Sai few artists utapiga manager ashike.
That's actually very true.
Nina
I
kwambia.
do that. Me apiganga and I'm booking things with the artist.
Which is so unprofessional, for lack of a better word. But you can't. You can't be the creative mind and then be the manager of that creative process. You can't. Utahit. That's why wasanii wengi rise. Atatoa ngoma moja iblow, rise, then afike mahali akwame.
Okay, that's actually interesting. Namesikia ni daktari. Wisdom.
Just to give you a small example. Me, I've been to TZ, Wapi, all these places, just learning how the industry works. Then unafika huko, unaangalia, ukienda UG, who can we say is the biggest artist? Let's take example ya Chameleone. Enda Tanzania, take example ya Diamond. Enda Nigeria, take example maybe ya P-Square. South Africa, watu kama Casper. Do you know the kind of lives those people live?
I mean, from social media, it's not small life.
Wale hawapost vitu fake. Those people are living the life of an artist. Kuja Kenya, who's the biggest artist?
Unaniweka kwa nini?
And how whoever you name,
here named here,
whether it is Pose, whether it's Otile, whether it is Baha, wanaishi maisha ya mtu wa kawaida yote huku nje. Just that they are stars, but hawaishi maisha ya stardom. Paka na Sauti Sol wenyewe, they are not. Why? Because hatuja make our industry the structures the industry yetu, they are lacking. Yeah, they are lacking. Msanii wa Nigeria anaweza toa ngoma moja, mtu kama Omalay, who is a very new artist. Actually in Nigeria, Omalay is an upcoming artist making much more money than our biggest artists.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very sad.
The harsh reality.
Yes, it's very sad. So, me wish we have this discussion to try change things, but the biggest of them all is me kama, now that we are back, I think to take up that mantle.
I was going to ask you now, you being the core, because without Dr. Eddie, I don't have music. I just have a lot of things out here.
Yeah. But wasanii wengi wana kiburi. That's the problem.
Kuna hard facts leo asubuhi ya baridi, kuna hard facts.
Mimi waambia wasanii, mimi uliza msanii yote mimi nimewaka naye. I tell them the facts. Making money from music is easy. You have like 50,000 guys subscribe to your Skiza. One Skiza is 1 shilling and 50 cents per day. Sema Safaricom ichukue the 60%, PRSP ichukue its 40%, utabaki maybe na kama 2 bob. 50,000 times 2 bob. You're talking of 100,000 shillings.
Padi.
Times 30.
Iko na pesa.
Why can't sioni watu hata wakipromote their Skiza tunes? They don't. Why? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Wasanii wetu wenye wana pesa ni vernacular artists. Yeah. Wakina Maima, wakina wamejenga manyumba mpaka zina ma swimming pool ni living. Yeah. Because they understand how the process works. Sisi wasanii wetu ni usta tu.
Yeah. Okay. What?
That's a discussion for another day.
That's a deep discussion. Unafaa kuwa na panel. Educate people. Yeah. I don't know. Probably if the artist have someone who will, like you're saying, management. Mtu mwenye atamwambia this is how it's done. Let's do this. Then I guess we'll be very far.
Gengeton is a big thing. but we've mismanaged
completely mismanaged.
Mismanaged it completely. Gengetone had the potential of becoming, right. But mi sionangi difference ya Gengetone na hizi ngoma si usikia kutoka Jamaica.
Hata Nigeria.
People say it's vulgar, yes, but things we hear kutoka kina Conscience, they are way worse.
Hata Cardi B.
Worse.
Ati worse.
It's worse than what our boys are singing.
Yeah.
But we just need to package that thing well so that we can sell it to people. Now I embrace.
Well, I'll just say I'm happy you're back fully. And I know things are going to change. You're back to get better.
We need to change. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for telling us your story.
Yes.
It's never easy for a big, person in the industry to open up about their lives. It's never something easy, but we appreciate your time and your story. We'll be back when you're doing bigger things. Call us. We have tutakuwa hapa. Let's change the industry.
We have to.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys, for being with us throughout the whole interview from Dr. Andy. Hey, nimesema Andy. From Dr. Eddie.
Yes.
And I will say bye.